Welcome back, space enthusiasts. Today we're diving into one of the most intriguing and unfortunate stories in modern space exploration. The tale of Astrobotic's Peregrine moonlander, a mission filled with promise, innovation, and the weight of pioneering ambitions, commercial space exploration. NASA envisioned a future where private companies could build, launch, and land spacecraft on the moon, delivering payloads at a fraction of the cost and time it would take for traditional space missions. Peregrine was the first contracted mission under this program, carrying the hopes and dreams of many who believed in the potential of commercial spaceflight. Astrobotic Technology, the company behind Peregrine, had a lot riding on this mission. Not only was Peregrine tasked with delivering scientific experiments, art, and even Bitcoin to the lunar surface, but it was also slated to fly aboard the maiden voyage of United Launch Alliance's ULA Vulcan Centaur rocket. This was a highly anticipated partnership, combining cutting-edge commercial spacecraft with one of the most advanced rockets ever developed. The stakes were high, the excitement palpable, and the expectations enormous. But as we know, space is unforgiving. On January 8, 2024, Peregrine launched into space, beginning what was supposed to be a historic journey to the moon. Initially, everything seemed to be going well. The spacecraft separated from the Vulcan Centaur as planned and began its voyage to our nearest celestial neighbor. However, something went terribly wrong. Instead of continuing on its path to the moon, Peregrine started to drift. For over a week, it wandered in space, seemingly lost, until it began an unexpected and irreversible return to Earth. On January 18th, the mission came to a catastrophic end as Peregrine re-entered Earth's atmosphere and disintegrated over the Pacific Ocean. The space community was left in shock, and questions swirled about what had caused this tragic failure. Astrobotic, determined to find answers, launched an exhaustive investigation into the incident. They assembled a team of 34 experts from government, industry, and within their own company to perform a thorough post-mission analysis. After months of painstaking work, the investigation team finally pinpointed the root cause of the failure: a faulty pressure helium control valve known as PCV-2. This valve was supposed to regulate the flow of helium between the pressurant tank and the oxidizer tanks within the spacecraft. However, due to a mechanical failure, PCV-2 lost its ability to seal properly. Imagine a screw in a washer vibrating loose over time. That's essentially what happened inside the valve. This loss of sealing capability led to uncontrolled helium flow, which in turn caused a series of catastrophic events that ultimately doomed the mission. But to fully understand the gravity of this failure, we need to dive deeper into the technical aspects of the Peregrine spacecraft. Helium control valves like PCV-2 are critical components in spacecraft propulsion systems. They regulate the pressure within the tanks that store the propellants, typically a combination of fuel and oxidizer. In Peregrine's case, PCV-1 was responsible for controlling helium flow between the pressurant tank and the fuel tanks, while PCV-2 handled the flow between the pressurant tank and the oxidizer tanks. When PCV-2 failed, it couldn't regulate the helium flow to the oxidizer tanks properly. This led to an uncontrolled increase in pressure within those tanks, which eventually caused one of them to rupture. The ruptured tank exerted an external torque on the spacecraft, destabilizing it and sending it into an uncontrollable spin. Despite the best efforts of the mission operations team, who tried 3 separate times to correct the trajectory, the damage was too severe. Peregrine was doomed. So how did this failure slip through the cracks? According to Astrobotic's report, the PCV-2 valve was a known risk even before the mission launched. During the construction of Peregrine, Astrobotic had switched PCV suppliers in August 2022 because the original components kept failing during testing. The new supplier's PCVs also encountered issues, specifically leaks during testing of PCV-1. However, because PCV-1 was in an accessible part of the spacecraft, the team was able to fix it relatively easily. PCV-2, on the other hand, was buried deep within the spacecraft. It didn't fail during testing, and accessing it for a check or replacement would have required extensive disassembly of the spacecraft. This would have invalidated critical acceptance testing that had just been completed, adding significant time and cost to the mission. Given the tight schedule and the risk of damaging other parts of the spacecraft during such an invasive procedure, The team made the difficult decision to proceed with the mission without replacing PCV-2. This decision, while understandable from a logistical and financial standpoint, proved to be a fatal one. The failure of PCV-2 set off a chain reaction of events that led to the destruction of the spacecraft. After the investigation team recreated the conditions that PCV-2 experienced in space, they confirmed that the valve's failure was inevitable under those circumstances. Shocks, vibrations, and pressurized cycling during the mission caused the valve to loosen and leak, essentially a ticking time bomb that eventually went off. The repercussions of this failure are significant, not just for Astrobotic, but for the entire commercial spaceflight industry. Peregrine was supposed to be a trailblazer, the first commercial lander to touch down on the moon as part of NASA's CLPS program. Its failure underscores the immense challenges and risks associated with space exploration, especially for private companies operating with tighter budgets and schedules than traditional government space agencies. However, this isn't the end of the story. Astrobotic is already looking ahead to its next mission, the Griffin lunar lander, slated to launch by the end of 2025 aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. Griffin is a larger, more advanced lander designed to deliver payloads to the moon's south pole. The team has learned valuable lessons from Peregrine's failure and has made significant improvements to the propulsion system on Griffin. For instance, they've added a backup system to control helium flow in case of another valve failure, and they've redesigned the internal workings of the valve itself to prevent the same type of mechanical failure that doomed Peregrine. This determination to learn from failure and push forward is at the heart of space exploration. Every mission, successful or not, contributes to our understanding of the challenges we face when venturing beyond our planet. Peregrine may not have reached the moon, but it has provided invaluable insights that will shape future missions, not just for Astrobotic, but for the entire space community. And let's not forget the broader implications of this incident. NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program is still in its infancy, and setbacks like Peregrine's failure are part of the growing pains of a rapidly evolving industry. The program's goal is to create a sustainable lunar economy where private companies can deliver payloads to the moon on a regular basis, supporting scientific research, exploration, and even commercial activities like mining and tourism. Peregrine's failure is a reminder of how difficult that goal will be to achieve, but it's also a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the people behind these missions. The fact that Astrobotic is already moving forward with Griffin, with lessons learned and improvements made, speaks volumes about the company's commitment to the future of space exploration. In the end, space exploration is as much about failure as it is about success. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to innovate, and to come back stronger. The Peregrine mission may not have gone as planned, but it has paved the way for future missions that will build on its legacy. So, what's next for Astrobotic and the commercial spaceflight industry? Will Griffin succeed where Peregrine failed? How will NASA's CLPS program evolve in the wake of this incident? And what does this mean for the future of lunar exploration? These are the questions that will shape the next chapter of our journey to the moon and beyond. Stay tuned, because the story of commercial space exploration is far from over. And as always, we'll be here to bring you the latest updates, insights, and stories from the final frontier. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more space content. And hey, if you have any questions or thoughts about the Peregrine mission or the future of lunar exploration, drop them in the comments below. We love hearing from you, and who knows, your question might be the topic of our next video.